Mr. Ashish Kulkarni is the chairman of FICCI for Animation and Visual Effects, Gaming and Comics. He is a well-known figure in the animation industry. Thank you, sir, for being with us and honoring our event. And Ashish is part of our advisory board as well, and he's our mentor too. He's been with us since the day of induction and has helped us throughout our journey. Thank you, sir, for being with us.
So we have a small AV to play actually before Ashishji's speech, and after the AV, Ashishji will address the audience, and then we will play the student showreel. So then we will open for the Q&A session so that you can actually take guidance from them. So let me just play the AV. I hope.
Animation guru and the most colorful personality east of Hollywood are some of the titles that have been given to Ashish Kulkarni, who successfully made his career in a young field of animation by relying on his "Let's go get it" motto and ability to see the big picture ideas. Ashish was born in Sagar in Madhya Pradesh, but spent his most formative years in Nagpur. Ashish's innate quality to do more made him an active participant in activities like public speaking, mountaineering, Scouts, NCC, Interact and Rotaract clubs. This drive paved the way for achievements and accolades from a young age, including representing the Maharashtra State NCC contingent in the 1985 Republic Day Parade. He was also selected to represent India in the 1985-86 Indo-Canada Youth Exchange Program. Early in his career, Ashish grew up the corporate ladder by excelling in marketing, design, advertising and media. Ashish's success in these companies was hinged on his engaging ability to tell stories. Ashish did not hesitate to move into the nascent Indian animation industry. As an early entry into the Indian animation industry, this journey began with Color Chips, where Ashish served as the president. Concurrently, he was appointed as the chairman of FICCI, AVGC Forum, Animation, VFX, Gaming and Comics Forum, and the NASSCOM Committee. Ever since, he has led the activities at FICCI Frames, NASSCOM Animation Summit, ABAI Fest, and formulated several policies at the national and state levels. Ashish continued with his track record of successful delivery of world-class shows for Disney, Warner Brothers, Nickelodeon, and other world majors. In 2005, Ashish incorporated Annie Wright Infomedia Private Limited, knowing that the future of the Indian industry is rooted in being able to produce original intellectual property. The company eventually became Reliance Big Animation and successfully put out original Indian content for global audience. Ashish's life story is riveting because he didn't just stop after inciting the Indian animation industry to create world-class original content. He immensely contributed to logo and brand positioning for MCCIA, Skill India, RuPay, National Cancer Institute, Media and Entertainment Skills Council, just to name a few. He looked forward and found the largest need for a successful future for the industry: a skilled workforce. The importance of making the Indian animation industry a sustainable career path for the generations to come brought Ashish back to the realm of education. Ashish SK pioneered creative education by working with Indian universities and educational institutions to bring animation, VFX, gaming, AR and VR in the formal education fold. Today, Ashish SK's contribution in building the country's creative infrastructure and establishing platforms for creative, design and performing arts stakeholders has helped several states in India to formalize and establish an ecosystem through dedicated animation policies. Ashish's journey has been marked by obstacles, struggles and successes. But there's still a lot left to do. Ashish has traveled across the globe, but his true passion lies in making India a world leader in content. The next big thing he is working on is a project he conceived back in 2005 to create a global art village, a first home for creative arts, performing arts, design, sport, and earth sciences in Lonavala.
So please join me in welcoming Mr. Ashish. Over to you.
Oh, thanks a lot for putting that video together. In fact, I was quite taken by surprise. But a great compilation. I think at the end of the day, everybody in this world is trying to tell a story, and I think everybody's life story is very critical. I would like to first of all congratulate Satish, Sridevi, and the whole team at the Design Skills Institute, and especially congratulate all the students who could find their way to come to this institute, which is a very boutique institute, started with a very humble beginning in 2016, and it's been a very creative journey ever since. Of course, a lot of projects got delivered out of this place, but it's more than that. Actually, the kind of finesse that this institute actually was able to bring about in terms of sharpening the skills of people who needed a finishing school, who needed a preparation to come to the industry, who needed a preparation to face the projects, who needed a kind of a know-how to especially figure out how they can become competitive to the global skills, and also to see that their skills are properly matched to the industry in the true sense that their contribution can be valuable to the industry. And I think all these kind of gaps were filled in by Satish, Sridevi, and the team there very efficiently. And I think this is something which I call beyond beyond what one would learn through the curriculums. And once I was with Sadhguru in Coimbatore in his ashram, and we were discussing about the Art Village as a project, and he's very keen, and he has a wonderful school there which teaches people skills in terms of dance, music, and various kind of skills in Kalaripattu to many other things. And I'm so impressed with what he did. But he told me one thing very categorically, that while the whole world is trying to prepare students to go to the universities, the students who come to me, I'm preparing them to take care of the universe. And that's the time one could understand that the vision of these kind of legends is something that is much beyond. And I can see a parallel that is happening with design skills, where you actually are not about the degree, the diploma, the certificate or whatever, but it's about mapping your skills, preparing yourself to face the projects, to face interviews, to face the entry into universities, or maybe doing a skill gap analysis and making sure you're mapping your skills to whatever is required for the world. And it's nobody has anticipated that the 2020 and 2021 would be probably be a very defining period in our lives, and especially in the students' lives, because most of the students had to learn on the screen. And what you just came to know about my company is called Punaryug, but I have another two set of companies. One of the companies is called ScreenYug Creations Private Limited. That's where we create new age content for the global audience, and that's why when we were thinking what to name our companies. Of course, the Punaryug was about uh, a creative. It's an art of reincarnation for the creative, areas and performing art areas, and that's why we said that what we're going to do is going to rediscover and restore the art forms and bring them to the contemporary level, and the contemporary art forms, not losing our culture heritage and many other legacies that we have. And we will not let the art forms die. We are working hard for the last 3 decades to save every species on this planet. Even the art forms have to be saved in the same way, and I think that's where my Art Village project is. But then when it came to the content company, we thought that today everybody is traveling with screens and they're carrying the screens along with them, and that's why we called our company ScreenYug Creations. So it's called a screen era, and so much true that we actually experienced a very deep screen era. Every student's classroom moved to the screen, every teacher's life moved to the screen, and everybody moved to the screen. And people were facing the screen of some kind for at least 7 hours to 15 hours to 16 hours in their life. So much so, even the politicians to the scientists to everybody had to depend on the screen. And that's why we felt that what we named our company was pretty uh, apt at this time, that we are about the screen era, and that's why it's called ScreenYug Creations. Create is available on every single screen, and that's why it's called the Screen Galaxy. It's called Screen Galaxy and Edutainment Private Limited. So, no, sorry, Infotainment Private Limited. So the thing is that we are passing this information to every possible screen. So when you decide to actually make a career, you basically start understanding that many people think very literal, and they feel that I'm joining animation, I'm joining VFX, I'm joining visual arts, or extended reality or mixed reality or virtual reality or augmented reality or whatever form. But that's a form of the skill. You do the live action form also. But end of the day, what we propagate is that every student and the parent and every stakeholder has to understand that they are actually in the business of storytelling, and that storytelling as an aspect has many facets. And I think that's the core of it, that if you understand that you are in the business of storytelling, you are specializing in the form of storytelling in a particular way, you actually start diving deep into how to tell that story and how to make that story more relevant to the audience, and how effectively can you tell these stories. And I think the whole mantra of actually trying to learn in a gurukul, or try to learn in the university, or try to learn from your mentor, is to see that how you can actually fine-tune your skills to tell the story better, how you can actually fine-tune your complete perception to to ensure that your story has an impact and it has a lasting impact. And most of these stories live much longer than our lives. And that's why people, even after our death, are going to continue to either read these stories or look at these stories or look at the videos or experience these stories if you have created a game or if you have created augmented reality or virtual reality or whatever. And that's why if we have not done our homework properly, or if we have not done our research properly, or if we have not done it with a great dedication, that story will be weaker and that will be uh, getting filtered out as a non-priority story, and that's why they would not look at it. So you need to basically keep in mind that uh, every time you tell a story, maybe while talking to people and narrating a story, or writing a story, or doing a stand-up comedy and tell a story, or do any form of story in audiovisual form, you need to be perfect and you need to make sure that you capture the attention and imagination of your audience. And if people tell you that these are the formulas or these are the principles of doing things, uh, to some extent I would disagree with that. It's is a formula in the form of storytelling gets derived by the person who's telling the story. And that's why all the artists and all the directors in our form of storytelling are very, very critical and important, because they all add to basically delivering a right kind of a story. And in the last last 1.5 years maybe, or a little less than 1.5 years, the story narrative has completely changed because our lives have changed. um, People who could explore things uh, outside and who could experience things outside had to stick to the screen and stay within the four walls and still do the things and still try to understand uh, how the world would be, how the tiger would look, how the elephant would look, or how the forest would be. And that's why the pressure on delivering the story narrative, because of this new evolution and the new challenge, that you cannot wander around the world the way you used to earlier, because the virus is in the air and you can catch the virus anytime, and it's in air whether you are in the lift or in a public place or anywhere. So this uh, also has created a fear factor. It has also created an emotional factor, and it has actually made the job of a storyteller even more well defined and more critical in this world today. Now, whether you are actually trying to tell a story of your product, or you're trying to tell a story of anything from history, geography, mathematics, physics, chemistry, it's not going to be done without the computer graphics, without the 3D, without the animation, without the visual effects. So your intervention is now dependent on a very powerful tools that can create a much better impact of storytelling. And when this criticality has reached its ultimate pinnacle of making an impact, an impression on the audience, because they are fatigued for watching the screen all the time. Uh, at the same time, many parents could not afford suddenly to buy laptops or computers for their kids. And the mother and father definitely had a cell phone which upgraded to a smartphone. And if there are two kids in the family, one of them was doing classes on one of the phone and other was doing classes on another phone. And just imagine that on a small screen like that, if a person is trying to learn and there's another guy who's trying to learn it on a bigger screen, how that impact would be created for different people. And that's where the people who are making career in animation, visual effects, gaming, maybe comics, and even in terms of live action, and creating content on platforms like augmented reality, virtual reality, mixed reality as well, the experiential platforms. Your life has become more tougher because you need to not only satisfy the audience with a use of a big screen, but you have to also create that relevant content where their level of understanding and satisfaction and engagement would be equally high on a cell phone as well. And that's why I think the specialization areas would fine tune themselves even deeper as we move forward. The universities will have to work with the industry very closely to redefine their curriculums, because the need of the storytelling, the need of the forms of devices related stories, and uh, the the vertical related story. When I say vertical, it's about your company work, whether it's whether you're selling uh, product, you're creating software for somebody, if you're in banking, if you're in railways, uh, everything has to change today to make sense and create a different impression. The gamification would be on every single communication, whether you are selling insurance, or you're if there is a government scheme providing loan to the farmers, or providing incentive to the farmer, or incentive to the frontline worker, or even about vaccination drive that is going to uh, be very critical for India in the next 6 months time or 7 months time, before whole of India could get vaccinated. I think the storytelling would be very different, and our lives will still continue to be confined to the four walls and the screens. That's the critical reality of life today. And post that, if you go by the imagination of people, and people who can foresee and forecast the future, uh, they would say that the life will not be the same again. There would be the mixed use of something called as the physical and the digital, and there's a new word that was coined and which was added to the dictionary called phygital, and some people call it the blended forms of storytelling, or blending a blended form of learning. These are all kind of new normal words in life, like the phygital, blended learning, and the blended content and everything, is trying to give you experience seamlessly, whether you are actually going to visit a place physically, and if you are not going to visit a place, but still be joining uh, on the digital platform. So the content that you create would change its form, and it's very important that we learn how to satisfy the needs of the creator and the needs of the consumer actually going to um, consume this kind of a content and experience this kind of a content. And that's why I would say that if you're trying to dabble between whether you want to become an engineer, or want to do a BBA, or want to do anything else in life, I think it's the greatest opportunity for anybody and everybody to actually join the storytelling industry, because any people, whether they are doctors or engineers, or uh, you know or the people who are in the airlines, or people who are in railways or in the government, everybody will have to communicate uh, and tell their stories in a very different way. And there are no other ways and means but dependency on people who do, filmmaking, animation, visual effects, and gaming, and these kind of verticals, comics even, uh, to convert these ideas into the stories and make it possible for people to experience them and consume them. And that's why I believe that whatever has happened in 2020 and 2021, which has been almost a total washout in terms of physical activities, uh, I'm uh, I feel sorry for the people who are in their 11th, 10th, 11th, 12th, or maybe in the final year of their, curriculums in the universities. The assessment patterns would change, a lot of things would change. And there is a big question whether the 12th exam should be done or not to be done. And if it's not going to be done, then what would be the assessment pattern and the grading pattern that would evolve? And how would you take an admission? How do you create a track record? And that's all, building credibility of whatever new systems and processes that we define and follow. But at the end of the day, all these are going to be, one, conveyed to the people. Second, the story will have to be told in a very different form. And when you go to the interviews, people will have to understand as to what happened during this phase of your life and how things changed in the whole world. And I think it's something which is not only a geography specific. This time it's a pandemic, so it's a global phenomenon. And uh, the complete ecosystem uh, is facing this kind of a change. While the change has been felt, there is a kind of a fear psychosis, and there was a time that people were not really scared about the virus, and there were times that people thought it's over and done with, and there were times with the second wave, the scare went to a sudden different high. And uh, the same what we have constantly seen which affected people at all ages was their behavioral patterns and the emotional quotient. And I think the emotional intelligence in the form of storytelling is also going to be a very big subject. That the stories that you tell, if they are not emotional, you don't like it. In fact, if you see any of the Indian stories, it's all about drama and it's all about emotions. And if a person who is a director or a story writer and even an actor, if is not able to convey the right emotions, they don't resonate with the audience. And I think that is another critical factor, that your emotional connect with your audience and with your stakeholders will have to be measured. The thing is, you'll have to start understanding the emotional quotient of your audience in a very different way, because they are facing a very different kind of a challenge in life. At the same time, you look at giving them a break in terms of watching content on the screens constantly, and then how can you actually create something which is different and path breaking, so that you are able to engage them with a different kind of a freshness that provides an engagement through the content in uh, uh, which gives a mental relief and a psychological relief to your audience. And for that, you will have to become very innovative. And I think if you have a right foundation of your storytelling, you can pretty much tell story in any form that you would like to. And that's why designing your stories uh, sculpting your story and creating your story which would make relevance and which will resonate with your audience is still going to be the key. And I would say, while the next 7 months pass, uh, I think India would look at only one important thing, that every Indian must get vaccinated. And to make this geography work for you, and geography is safe for you and your good, your well-wishers and your family and your friends, just make sure that everybody gets vaccinated. And that's the story that you need to tell. Now, whether you create a film, whether you pick up a phone and talk to people, or whatever you do, you create a animation, or you create messages and do promote that, at all ages, all uh, you know, uh, uh, all citizens must get vaccinated to make the geography more relevant and more safer for us. And then you will be able to experiment even differently. At the same time, utilize the next 7 months to make your foundation even tighter and a more solid one. Because if you know that you are actually put into a kind of a cage right now, and what's your window to the world is the screen, make the best use of it, read the right content, study from the right things, and create the right output, so that you utilize this in a much better way to consolidate and uh, make a better person out of yourself with enhanced wisdom in the next 7 months, that you will be uh, able to start seeing the change out of the last 24 months. In January 2022, you should be able to walk into the world where your story narrative is entirely different, and your story uh, you know delivery is might be different, but you uh, are present with the right skills, or you are learning the right skills to make sure that your relevance in the business of storytelling is very critical and needed by the creators, or you become a creator yourself. Having said that, I think this is the insight that while you all have learned by now that how critical it is to remain safe, because many of us have lost our colleagues, our relatives, and our friends uh, 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 to the COVID crisis. But while doing that, I think it is also important to keep the very required attitude of self-motivation and activating your emotions to make sure that you smile and bring smiles on others' faces uh, at the same time. And I think that's, according to me, is the most important mantra of storytelling, that if you are able to bring smile on others' faces, and if you continue to smile and still come out of the situations that you're put into, you are definitely a big winner, and you have designed your life and your career in the right way. So having said that, I think I need to end here, uh, because I can speak to you guys for the next 4 hours, but that's not what we have come to here. Uh, come here to basically uh, uh, look at this Foundation Day celebration. But we would like to see some of our students' work. And when students are asking very critical and important questions, and even their parents are asking the questions, we need to ensure that they are, satisfied with the right answers, which are relevant for uh, their careers, their kids' careers, and also for the industry. So having said that, I would say a big thank you to Sridevi and Satish and all the faculty members at the Design Skills, and all the students. Wish you guys all the best, and a big thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. You have
Thank
shared a lot of facts today, and it is definitely, I think, our students going to take it and they're going to use it in their life and in their career. And you started with the how important is as the screen has become today, and how much time everyone has to spend in front of the screen, and all this, and you just made them to understand how important is to tell a story. Each one has a story to say, and you insisted on the story of themselves, which they have to come up with, because we need such original story, original content. So when everyone comes up with a story, and we can actually get a lot of stories in from our country. So that's from my side, and it was amazing.
Just to add, like what she said, I've been listening to your speech, sir, very long, so many years actually. So this storytelling, especially I felt the change in storytelling during this pandemic time. For the past 1 year, we've been watching Netflix, Amazon Prime, and all these OTT platforms. The kind of stories which is released, even they also have the pandemic situation. They cannot go out and shoot, but they change the story so that they can shoot within the house with 3 or 4 characters. So there are a lot of stories like this. And there are one film, I don't know whether you have seen, See You Soon. It's a Malayalam film. Its entire film is shot in mobile phone actually. Everybody shot in mobile phone. The incident happens in Dubai actually. There is a kidnap happens. The whole film is shot only in mobile and a laptop camera, web camera actually. So like this, there are very interesting stories we've been watching actually, and the entire OTT platform require large amount of content like this. So the way of storytelling has completely changed according to the crisis, according to the situation. It's amazing to see all these kind of evolutions. Like our students, I'm sure they would have realized they might be also watching these kind of films sitting at home. And there are a lot of things to learn from these films actually. So how do you adapt yourself to the situation? So yeah, I'm sure you must have seen those films also actually.
So the one must understand that how important is the story, because it is not only about film or in any other field. Like for a product, you need to tell a story. For a company, you need to tell a story. Story is everywhere. To establish yourself, you have to tell a story. And to build a brand, you need to tell a story. And how impactful is the story? That's more important. That's what Sir had spoken today. And how impactful you have to make yourself by telling your own story.
Yeah. So I think before open to the Q&A, so I would like to play the showreel of our students so that you can probably address also while you're talking. So whether how they have to improve, what is your, just a minute, I'll just share. You can see the screen?
Yeah.
Okay. This is the art and design and the 2D students showreel. So all these work, it's been for the past 1 year, they've been doing this. So the classes happens most of the time, except this January and February, it had happened real time. So they came, some of them came to the institute. Otherwise, most of the work, it is like through remote, they've been working and our faculties used to guide them online. So now I'll just play the 3D showreel. So these are two showreels which you could compile within a very short time of span. Now, Shri, what Q&A?
Amazing story, surely.
Yeah, we have some Q&A session now.
Yeah.
There's a
So I'm sure everybody must be enjoying. So please, students, parents, whomever is there, if any questions, you can probably unmute yourself and you can ask. Or if you want to put the questions on chat, you can put it. I'll ask on behalf of you. So by the time they think, so I just have one question, sir. Actually, like everybody's mind, they have this question. So where do you see our industry growing, sir, after this maybe like 1.5 to 2 years of a pandemic situation? Personally, I know there are a lot of opportunities are there because the entire OTT platform, even the films are also, there is no film releases. But once things are normal, and I think everybody is going to start making films, a large amount of content will come. But actually, where do you see this industry is growing, and whether this is going to impact us in a big way, or we will be sailing through, sir?
I think, as far as animation is concerned, the consumption of animation has gone up 600 times in the last 1 year. People, because there is a unique feature with animation that a repeat content can also be watched, and even the dubbed content in different language can be watched. The recycling of content has been a important factor when the production was not greenlit. But in the last 7 months, the amount of shows that have got greenlit has put a lot of pressure on the creations. Now the thing is that the studios are still not been able to deliver from the studios, but they had to allow artists to take the workstations home and deliver shows from there. So I think there are new ways of delivering shows, and I think the amount of work has pretty much doubled in the last 7 months. So in the next 5 to 6 years, I feel that the animation per se is going to develop, very strongly in the amount of work to be delivered in terms of sheer hours of animated content is going to be huge. So we are going to require manpower, which is going to be very, very critical to deliver from the remote places, and some intervention every week in the studios. So I think a mixed kind of learning for delivery will have to be followed, and people will have to get tuned to that. So I believe the career for people doing animation will be immense, but they will have to do a lot of self-learning for delivering the show. So watching more relevant films when you're animating, if you're animating human beings, then you'll have to watch more human beings on different shows. And even if you're animating animals, then you'll have to do that. In terms of visual effects, what I'm told by several forums internationally is because of the scare of virus, the shootings have been done in isolation. That means there is a new method of digital screens against switch. Earlier, when we used to use chroma, the chroma will continue, but there is a use of digital screens. But everything that you do either in digital screens or chroma is going to require a lot of cleaning up and a lot of visual effects or creation of sets and effects and lighting. So all these artists who are actually wanting to specialize in the visual effects and DI and the correction, the rotos, and many other things will also increase exponentially, because the high net worth artist or high risk artist would not go into the mass for making sure that the shoots would happen with 400, 500, 600 people around them. That will all come to a rest for a little while. But having said that, I think getting used to shooting against the chroma or against the digital screens is here to increase, because that is putting the director and the schedule in a much better way, and the hiring cost of the locations and many other things would change. Of course, when the things open up, people would like to do it at the actual locations because it is more cost effective. But I would say that there is a exponential growth in the terms of visual effects artists, in terms of trying to deliver the new age live action, whether it's in feature films or in television, or more so in OTT. And a good thing is that the OTT has provided for a specialized budget for visual effects, because their streaming technology is very powerful. You can actually get a theater effect whenever you do put a 5.1 in your home and get a streaming from the OTT platforms. So because they have enhanced the effect, they would like even the visual effects to be of a different higher grade and a higher quality. So I think there is a huge potential for visual effects artists. The third in the line, of course, is the biggest winner, by the way. So I would say, if you look at the gaming guys, the gaming has grown more than animation consumption or anything that you would measure. And the gaming industry, according to me, by 2030 would be 50% of the total media and entertainment industry.
Okay.
So whether film, OTT, animation, events, everything put together will be 50%, and 50% will be the gaming industry. So all forms of gaming, whether it's a mobile game,
Console game or 3D.
console game, PC would fade out slowly, but whether it's on augmented reality, virtual reality, or you have the fantasy games or Rummy or any of these engagement games, of a different kind, and even esports would be a part of the gaming industry. So they will constitute easily up to 50%, and the present manpower will go 20 times more in gaming. And many people used to feel they used to give up on the comics, but the comics are coming back in a very big way. And good artists who can do caricatures and stuff and do stylization in drawing has a big future, because many forms of storytelling will go through the comic and the storyboard and the motion graphics, and they are having its own market, and all these people are useful in animation and live action also. So I think these four verticals that we deal with have a very, very powerful future. Some of them are going to double, some of them are going to be growing more than double the size. And I think more the number of people who try to make a career in this space, much better it will be for the industry to get variety of talent and variety of ideas and styles to the ecosystem.
I also see an opportunity, the freelancers actually, because we know almost like 10, 15 years ago, West adapt a culture of contract working actually. So freelancers kind. So now this working from home in India also, I think a lot of people might be good, talented people, since they are accessible through VPN for a company. In terms of security is also, there is no issue. So I think this culture also will grow. If you are really a great artist, you really don't have to migrate from your city to another place. You can probably work for 2 or 3 companies. That's how you can increase your earnings also, livelihood also. That opportunity, do you see really this is also growing in India?
One has to understand one thing, that the filmmaking, whether it's for the feature films or for television or for the ad films, the nature of engagement of artists was always a freelancer base. So when any production house does a film,
correct,
they hire a producer, director, cinematographer, choreographer, artist, costume designer, and all actors together.
correct.
And they also hire a visual effects studio to do and put together things, and then it goes to the DI studio and the rest of the things, the color correction and all of this. They also hire a music director and the singers and everything, lyrics writer. So it's always a unit put together, and then the unit gets dismantled as people have delivered their part of the story and the conversion of the film. So the nature itself for hundreds of years had been like that. That's been the foundation. Why we required to create a bigger studio to work together was because you required a lot more networking and coordination. And better understanding, because everything in visual effects and animation and gaming is left to the imagination of the artist. In the live action, there are still people who are interacting with each other. But here, once a brief is given, then you and your computer are creating that piece of the story or that piece of the screen, shot or scene. And that's why an engagement is required. But in the given pandemic situation, uh, that will have to be done more on the communication tools, because you need to maintain the distance and the social distance. I would say there's nothing learning, because emotions are brought in by interaction in the best way. It cannot be done in isolation. So I think that would come back, and that's why we require studios to really see that people are working together. But uh, the very nature of being a freelancer is an integral part of the industry. So there are certain processes that can be delivered on a freelance basis, and they anyway are out. Like storyboarding is freelanced.
Freelance, correct.
Many times character design is freelanced. Writing is freelanced. So
Motion graphics also freelancing mostly. Yeah.
So I think there are pieces which can be done more easily on a freelance, but there is a joint effort when you do animation, lighting, and few other things, and that's where you require people to work together. So I think there also we have been able to deliver maybe 30% lesser speed than what it used to be when you are in studio, but people are getting used to delivering it like that also. But I think moving forward, they would be wanting to come back and work together.
So anybody has any questions?
Actually, on behalf of students, I would like to ask a question, because mostly the students who are very passionate about drawing and sketching, those who have chosen animation as their career, they have a doubt whether to take up 2D animation or 3D animation, because in spite of explaining them how passionate you are in animating, they come up with this question saying that should we take up 2D or should we take up 3D? There's a confusion, so I would like to clear that for them.
I think they should take both. It is like learning animation is like learning driving. Now, whether you say 2D is like driving maybe a BMW and 3D is like driving a Mercedes or a Land Rover or whatever, there's no supremacy. At the end of the day, you have to deliver a story. And those people who can deliver by hand drawing will earn the largest amount of money eventually, because they will be able to do both, and people who cannot draw will not be able to do both. So the people who can draw will be able to fit into pre-production also, and the production also, and the post also. So I think if people are really good with drawing, they should not think of whether they should go to 2D or 3D. They should actually learn both. It's like saying, if I've learned maths in Marathi, then whether learning maths in English is better, you will still be able to deliver. So whether you're doing maths in Spanish or in Urdu or Arabic or in English or Mandarin, it's going to be the same. So I would say, if there are more shows where you require a 2D skill to deliver it, you should do 2D. And whenever you feel that you need to migrate for your career to do 3D, you should be able to do 3D also. And I have seen some of the most successful guys who never thought whether it's 2D or 3D, who thought animation has to be delivered in the right way, and they were still able to deliver.
Correct. Any questions, students, parents?
Hello, sir. Abhishek this side.
Yeah, hi, Abhishek.
Hello, Ashish sir. I got a question for you.
Yeah.
We have seen Disney make such an monumental animated films, and then develop that into live action films.
Yeah.
Like Lion King or Aladdin.
Yeah.
Is there any possibility for Indian mythological content that should be mounted on a scale that a Disney film is mounted on a regular basis? And can people go and buy the ticket for that animated film in theaters?
I would say Avatar is the same thing. It's pretty much Indian mythology told in a different form. You know, the blue skin guys were always Krishna and Ram and Vishnu. And they had tails, and a lot of other things was like Hanuman. So they have taken the gist of our heritage and have created something. You know that there are two or three things. There are different market dynamics.
Yeah.
You know the dollar. The dollar is like 72, 73 rupees to a rupee right now.
Yeah.
When you get maybe 250 rupees a ticket here, and you get maybe $20 or $17 for a same seat. At the same time, the intellectual property value is much better in many countries. So when Disney creates a movie, they create it with 100 million to 300 million dollars normally. So that would mean, 100 million would mean 700 crores. So with that budget, you will always create that quality of a film. And if they put 100 million to create a film, they also put 100 million or maybe more to market that film and distribute that film. So their market dynamics is entirely different. And we as a country were very inward people. We had smaller kingdoms. Historically, India was built with smaller kingdoms all over the country. And these smaller kingdoms also were self-sustaining. And today I call the smaller kingdoms as the language kingdoms. So you have Telugu films, you have Bengali films, and Malayalam films, and Oriya films, and Gujarati films, and all these things. So they have to create a successful business model for their ecosystem. And then there is a larger ecosystem of a Hindi feature film. But everything is a part of the Indian ecosystem. And that's why what needs to be done is you need to really see how that is panning out for you. So there are many artists who worked with us for a large number of years, and then they migrated to DreamWorks, Pixar, and Disney, and many other places. Many of them have come back after working there, and they are creating some good quality content here again. So each market has a different dynamics, and that's why co-productions is the way to go. But to understand that they have 110, 112 years of a history of animation. We have merely 20 years of history of animation, but we have still done a good job, and we have created self-sustaining content. So give it another few years, and you will start seeing what works for a Disney model would start working for some of the Indian models in a very short span. The generations have to lap it, and the market dynamics would lap it. In some countries, people have seen, they kind of skipped, something called as the transistor. They had a radio, and then they had a VHS, and then they had, some people have missed the VHS, and they already had a DVD.
Yeah.
So, we are a very different market dynamics. We actually are able to create content in a very low budget, which nowhere in the world people can create. And it is still successful. So I think one has to mature, to learn those dynamics, and then see for themselves whether they are able to design or create a content of a great quality where they can do migration to the bigger studios, or be a part of that ecosystem instead of this ecosystem. So I think it's the world is lapping up good artists, and there is no stopping for a good artist to work for anybody. So I think it's all up to the potential of the artist. But the market dynamics will take a little bit of time to, deliver the similar thing that you are asking for.
Okay, sir.
Thank you, Sunny, for asking this question. Hope it's answered actually.
Yes,
I
sir.
thought it was Abhishek.
Yeah, Abhishek, sir.
Abhishek, okay. His name is displayed as Sunny actually. I thought so.
Yes,
Okay. So anybody else? Anybody wants any clarification, or if anybody has a question?
sir, can I ask one more question?
Yes, please.
Yes, Abhishek.
Ashish, sir, if I am a filmmaker,
Yeah.
okay, and I have to conceive an idea about a film, that story that came into my mind, how do I differ it with live action film or an animation film? How do I pitch it? Like, if there is a difficulty in pitching a film for an animated genre or a live action.
So when you create a story, you
Yeah.
know in which form you have to tell that story or deliver that story. I'll give you an example. Many people in India always used to come up with a feature film.
Yeah.
And on the OTT platform, you must have seen, there are 6-episode series as a season. There are 8-episode series, and there are 12-episode series, and a 10-episode series.
Yeah.
Why do you think it has happened like that? Because everybody wanted to create a feature. But that feature didn't do justice. They kept pitching it as a feature.
Yeah.
But then when there was an opportunity to create a series of a different kind, then they thought that, oh, I can actually do it more as a series, and it will get sold as a series. So as a story creator, you have to be smart and not, you might be having a great feature film idea, but if your opportunity is in OTT at this point in time, I would say that if you get that opportunity, you should go ahead and do it, because it's very difficult for idea to get converted into ideation to script to screen.
Yeah.
And that's a big process and big, tough thing to do. And that's why don't wait if you pitch an idea in feature film, or you pitch an idea in a television, but somebody says, I can do a great feature out of this. So be ready to do that if the investor says that we can still tell a good story in this form. So don't stick with that idea and not do it at that time, because there is the chance that if you don't do it, it might not happen. So
sir.
people live with the ideas for years together to make it happen. So if your idea is very good, it will, parallelly people will listen to it, people will copy a few things and all. It's a very crazy industry, and you will see somewhere that, oh, your idea is already executed. Some fine day you will see something popping up somewhere. So I would say that if you have a great idea, register it, safeguard it as an IP, and be ready to be made it in any form, and reserve the other forms with you when you sign up with an investor. If they have signed up with you on OTT and they say that we will reserve the right for feature film, then you say, no, I want to be a part of that because this original idea was mine, and keep a piece of it or keep that feature film rights with you. That's the way you will still be able to pursue it. I'll give you an example. There is one serial going on Sony called Ahilya. It's about Ahilya by Holkar. Now 100 episode is one season, and they're doing another 200 episodes. Another 100 episodes is season 2. And I believe it can also be told as a part of the feature film in 2.5, 3 hours. So it's something that is very critical while you're creating one. When we wanted to create Krishna, I went to ISKCON, and ISKCON wanted to create a Mahabharata feature film. and it took me 1 year to convince them to create Little Krishna. But then we found that there is another, there are so many stories as a part of Little Krishna, which we are not able to tell in this television series. It has a restriction as a format. So we created a feature film for from the pre-birth of Krishna till the 10 years. And we told very interesting stories in that. So we covered what we couldn't tell in television series into a feature. So when you research an idea or you create an idea, it can be told in numerous forms. But be ready to make sure that you grab a form and tell it to the world and take the credit for that. Otherwise, you will lose out.
Yeah, sir. Speaking about Little Krishna, I used to watch that series a lot on television. I used to come home by 2:30 and exactly at 2:45 on Nickelodeon. It used to play before my tuition, and I used to watch for 1 hour straight.
Yes.
For 5 or 6 years, I have seen that series every day.
Good.
It was phenomenal, sir.
Thanks so much.
So we have made a small AV, sir, of our journey, 5 years journey, and we would like to release it now. So I'll just play it 1.5 minutes.
There is somebody asking if somebody can speak in Marathi. I think please let them ask questions.
Yes. Yeah, you can ask in Marathi, Hindi, Telugu, Malayalam, whichever language you want actually. So we have around 5-6 languages we can answer. So meanwhile, I'll play this AV. You think of the question. Just a minute. This is our latest. We edited this. So we made it for today's session.
Great.
So it's all Vara. So I just sent it to Vara, all the script. Actually, he made this AV possible.
Great.
So if anybody wants to ask question in Marathi, Hindi, please feel free. Otherwise, probably another 1 minute, we'll wind up the session. किसी को पूछना है क्या हिंदी में मराठी में कुछ?
Someone just typed that they wanted to ask in Marathi.
बोला. I think must have left.
Hello sir.
Yes.
Hello sir. Hi sir. मैं कृष्णा बोल रहा हूँ. I'm from Delhi. और मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि आज के टाइम में जो क्लासिकल एनिमेशन है वो धीमे धीमे कहीं ना कहीं मुझे लग रहा है कि खत्म होता जा रहा है. और जो कंप्यूटर पे एनिमेट्स जैसी टून बूम वो जो डायरेक्ट एनिमेशन करते हैं तो मुझे नहीं लगता जो एक जब लाइट बॉक्स पे एनिमेशन करते हैं जो डिज्नी का वो फील आता है वो डायरेक्ट नहीं आता. अगर मैं वेकॉम के हेल्प से मैं करता हूँ बट क्या क्लासिकल एनिमेशन धीमे धीमे खत्म होता जा रहा है?
क्या है कि
अगर इसकी जॉब कहाँ पर है?
कैसा है कि क्लासिकल एनिमेशन जो है वो
जी जी
आ, उसका उपयोग कुछ अलग तरीके से होगा, क्योंकि हर एक फील्ड में
जी जी
टेक्नोलॉजी इज टेकिंग ओवर
Right.
एंड दैट विल रिमेन द सेम। बट अगर आप टून बूम में जाओगे तो उसमें आपको क्लासिकल एनिमेशन का पूरा फ्लेवर उन्होंने दिया हुआ है। यू कैन एक्चुअली क्रिएट एन एंड टू एंड फिल्म like you create in Maya, you can create in Toon Boom also.
Right.
Every stage by drawing. Now the thing is, because all the output has is already coming out of the digital platforms. Everything anyway will have to be migrated to the digital.
Right.
So it has become a reverse integration. पहले डिजिटल इंक एंड पेंट चालू हुआ और उसके बाद टोटल एनिमेशन start to an end has started getting delivered digitally.
Right.
तो क्लासिकल जो कर रहे हैं लोग, उनका एक फ्लेवर अलग है, उनकी जो स्टाइलाइजेशन अलग है,
जी जी
और वो रहेगी, लेकिन आउटपुट तो डिजिटली होना है, आपको मालूम है।
राइट
और अगर कोई बड़ा प्रोडक्शन करना चाहता है तो तुम देयर इज अ नीड ऑफ अ लार्ज नंबर ऑफ आर्टिस्ट। एक जमाना था
जी जी
जब कनाडा में, यूएस में, कोरिया में, फिलीपींस में
जी जी
क्लासिकल एनिमेशन करने वाले हजारों लोग थे।
राइट
तो वो टाइम पे रिस्क लेना और वैसा शो कराना
जी
और
जी
वैसी फंडिंग कराना पॉसिबल था।
जी जी
आज के तारीख में वो पॉसिबल बनता दिखता नहीं है।
हाँ वो आई थिंक सर मुझे भी लगता है कि हमें आउटपुट ना, जो क्लाइंट भी होते हैं वो चाहते हैं तुरंत मुझे आउटपुट मिले। इससे उनको ये नहीं आइडिया होता है कि ये बहुत टाइम टेकन चीज़ें होती हैं, और वो चाहते हैं कि मैंने आज दिया है उनको, क्लाइंट बोलता है कि मैंने आज दिया है तो 1 वीक में मुझे ये, अब इसको बना के पूरा एनिमेशन दे दो मुझे।
बिल्कुल, तो इसी के कारण वो बन नहीं पा रहा है। अब बात यह है कि
जी
जो लोग पहले इतनी बड़ी बड़ी फिल्म भी बना सकते थे और हर टेलीविजन क्लासिकली बनाते थे,
राइट
वो भी डिजिटल प्लेटफॉर्म पे वर्किंग कर रहे हैं। तो वो एक फ्लेवर रहेगा। अब आप पूछोगे कि पहले
नहीं सर
जो
अभी
फिल्म
अभी जिस
जो फिल्म एक
राइट
मिनट, जो फिल्म शूट होती थी,
जी जी
वो रील्स पे शूट होती थी और उसके बाद उसकी लंबी चौड़ी प्रोसेसिंग रहती थी।
हाँ जस्ट लाइक टार्जन मूवी मैंने देखा है, तो उसकी मेकिंग पूरी देखी इसकी। तो
तो
मुझे लगता है
अभी तो फिल्म वैसी होती नहीं ना।
जी
तो धीरे धीरे वो सब चीजें चेंज होती है।
जी
लेकिन जो आदमी क्लासिकल कर सकता है आज भी,
राइट
उसकी बड़ी डिमांड है, क्योंकि की एनिमेशन वही कर सकता है अच्छे से।
जी मैं सर खुद करता हूँ, और की एनिमेशन ड्रॉ करता था, देन अब तो मैं सॉफ्टवेयर भी करता हूँ। बट सर कहीं ना कहीं चीज़ें लग रही है कि जैसे अभी मैंने कुछ टाइम से देखा है कि वो जो डायरेक्ट सॉफ्टवेयर वर्क करते हैं वो चीज़ें नहीं आती, मतलब वो जो 12 प्रिंसिपल ऑफ एनिमेशन वो मतलब वो फॉलो ही नहीं करते। वो चाहते बस जल्दी जैसे करके दो एक बहुत बेसिक लेवल का एनिमेशन। और मैंने भी एक और एनिमेशन देखा था, स्पा स्टूडियो,
हम्म,
सर्जियो पेबलो का स्टूडियो। तो अभी जो एक वो डिज्नी का जो फील है वो मेरी क्लाउज मूवी में देखा अभी, रिसेंटली आई 2019 में। तो सर क्या इंडिया में चीजें पॉसिबल नहीं है, मतलब इंडिया में ऐसा क्यों नहीं है कि
अभी ऐसा, इट विल ऑल डिपेंड ऑन बजट, बिकॉज हम लोग तो चाहते हैं कि वैसा बजट आए और वैसा हम प्रोड्यूस करें।
जी
तो वैसे बजट्स आएंगे और वैसे प्रोडक्शन भी होंगी।
जी जी
लेकिन उसको टाइम लगेगा, क्योंकि इंडस्ट्री मैच्योर होने में टाइम लगता ही है।
राइट
अभी क्या है, तो डिमांड भी बहुत ज्यादा है। तो मेरा परसों टून बूम इंडिया सेल्स हेड और कनाडा का हेड है एंड साउथ अफ्रीका हेड, ये तीनों के साथ मेरा परसों कॉल था। उनको अभी
ओके
पूना में एक बहुत बड़ा स्टूडियो आ रहा है, 2D का स्टूडियो। गुड़गांव में एक स्टूडियो आ रहा है, तो उनको लोग चाहिए। तो
ओके
हमारा जो फैकल्टी है 2D का, वो ट्रेडिशनल 2D में भी काम कर चुका है एक्चुअली, उसका MFA बैकग्राउंड है। तो हम लोग टून बूम का इंट्रोडक्शन सिखाते थे। तो अभी ये जो टून बूम वाले को फुल फ्लेड्ज्ड सिखाने के लिए हमारा साथ टाई अप होने के लिए मीटिंग था एक्चुअली, क्योंकि अभी भी डिमांड तो बहुत ज्यादा है। तो आप जो बोल रहे हैं एक्चुअली, सब लोग डिजिटल में चले गया, लाइक आशीष जी जैसे बोले। तो आपको तो बेसिक वो ट्रेडिशनल एनिमेशन का नॉलेज तो जरूरी है एक्चुअली। अगर वो नॉलेज
राइट
नहीं है, आप वो सॉफ्टवेयर में भी कुछ नहीं कर सकता एक्चुअली।
राइट आई एग्री विद यू, बट मैंने
Yeah.
देखा बहुत सारे इंस्टीट्यूट हैं कि वो डायरेक्ट सॉफ्टवेयर पे ले जाते हैं स्टूडेंट को। तो कहीं ना कहीं वो क्या उनका आउटपुट भी नहीं आता है, और
वो नहीं होगा क्योंकि क्या है, जब तक हम लोगों को पेंटिंग फोटोशॉप पे सिखाएंगे तो वो पेंटर कभी बनेगा नहीं।
राइट।
करेक्ट।
अगर आप उसको पहले पेंटर बनाइए, उसके बाद फोटोशॉप हाथ में दीजिए, तो वो अच्छा काम करेगा।
तो अब हमारा
तो
शोरील
ये
भी देखा
डिफरेंस
ना,
है।
काफी आर्ट रिलेटेड 2D रिलेटेड बहुत सारा हम लोग सिखाते हैं। पहले 6 to 8 months हम लोग सॉफ्टवेयर देते ही नहीं, एक्चुअली कंप्यूटर देते ही नहीं, तो हम लोग ट्रेडिशनली डालते हैं। ये डिपेंड्स ऑन द स्टूडेंट ऑल्सो ना। अभी सोचो हम लोग 50 स्टूडेंट्स को ट्रेन कर रहे हैं, उसमें से 4-5 स्टूडेंट्स को ही इंटरेस्ट है ड्राइंग करने में, बाकी सब वो सॉफ्टवेयर में लगी पड़ जाते हैं एक्चुअली, तो उनको तो सॉफ्टवेयर में ही करना है। तो उनको भी एक्चुअली हम लोग मोटिवेट करके ये इसका इम्पोर्टेंस उसको हम लोग बोलते हैं। उसके बाद कुछ कुछ स्टूडेंट्स बहुत अच्छा रेगुलरली प्रैक्टिस करते हैं,
राइट।
देन वो उसका आगे भी बहुत अच्छा हो जाता है एक्चुअली। जो भी जॉब मिलना, उसका ट्रेडिशनल स्किल्स भी अच्छा हो जाता है, सॉफ्टवेयर स्किल्स भी अच्छा हो जाता है।
Yeah, there
हाँ
is
सर।
one more. Yeah,
ओके मैम, कंटिन्यू।
there is one more question from Subham Rathod. He's asked how much scope in modeling in VFX. So
I didn't get the question.
I didn't get the question. He has written how much scope in modeling in animation.
Oh, modeling in
Modeling,
animation.
3D modeling, yeah, asset development basically.
Asset development, yes.
Yes, Satish can answer this question.
So it is not about the scope. Basically, thing is you need to be completely competent enough actually. तो हम लोग जो अभी 2 साल का जो कोर्स है उसमें हम जो सिखा रहे हैं, राइट फ्रॉम आइडिएशन टू फाइनल स्क्रीन, देन आप एक स्पेशलाइजेशन चूज करके उसमें आगे बढ़ते हैं एक्चुअली। इंडस्ट्री में भले आप एंट्री करेंगे तो मॉडलर, टेक्सचरिंग आर्टिस्ट, मे बी एनिमेटर, like motion graphics artist or VFX, मगर आप 10 साल तो सिर्फ वही करते नहीं रहेगा ना। तो आपको आगे बढ़ के आपको एनिमेशन सुपरवाइजर बनना चाहिए, एनिमेशन डायरेक्टर बनना चाहिए, प्रोड्यूसर बनना चाहिए। दैट्स द करियर ग्रोथ एक्चुअली। आपको अगर कुछ एंट्री करने के लिए आप चूज कर सकते हैं मॉडलर, यानी कि एनिमेटर, यानी कि टेक्सचरिंग आर्टिस्ट, एक पीस चूज करके उसमें स्पेशलाइज करके आगे जा सकता है। तो सब जहां में स्कोप है। अगर एक फिल्म बनता है, 3D एनिमेशन का फिल्म बनता है, कम से कम उसमें 50-60 मॉडल्स तो रहता है। वो मॉडल करने के लिए मॉडलर्स का जरूरत है, टेक्सचरिंग करने के लिए टेक्सचरिंग लोगों का जरूरत है। अगर आप मल्टी स्किल्ड टैलेंटेड हो, आप सब जहां में सब फील्ड में काम कर सकते हैं। आपका मॉडलिंग का काम होने के बाद ये पाइपलाइन में पूरा एनिमेशन की तरफ चले जाएगा आपका पूरा एसेट एक्चुअली। तब आपको थोड़ा बेसिक सेकेंडरी एनिमेशन भी आता है ना, आप उसमें आप कंट्रीब्यूट कर सकते हैं। So don't focus only on that. There is a tremendous scope for the modeler as well. You can be, once if you are a very good modeler, that's the entry level for you. But then you keep on doing this modeling for 3-4 years, then move on to the next department, contribute yourself for the entire film, become a director. So that is the way you should think about it.
Yeah, there is one more question from Abhishek Vandekar. He has asked opportunities in visual effects for students. Because of this pandemic, is there going to be any effect? I think Ashish sir had answered this. The first question was about the advancement in visual effects and where it's going to be seen.
So whether the pandemic is there or not, you need to prepare yourself actually. So because this pandemic is going to be there for maybe 1 or 2 years. After that, your life has to move on. So don't prepare for the pandemic actually. You prepare for yourself. So then sitting at home, you can contribute to the entire world. There are a lot of people I know in India, they are working for many international companies. If you are a very good VFX artist, very good compositor, very good roto artist or a paint artist, so companies will find you. So they will give you a lot of jobs.
He has asked also, how should student prepare himself for those opportunities?
That's what prepare is nothing but you learn the skill. After learning the skill, you keep on practicing actually. Practice makes a man perfect. You keep on practicing, then increase your speed and the perfection. So that is what is very, very important. So I think if we can probably close the session, because otherwise it will keep on going. So those who have any questions, you know, our website is there, so you can mail it to us also. And enquiries@designskills.com, or leads@designskills.com. So you can actually mail it to these things. Okay, so then we will answer to your question. So I request Sri Devi madam to give a vote of thanks, and then probably after that we'll wind up.
Sir, one thing, 1 minute.
Yeah, Shulba.
Actually, I don't have as such one question, but just I wanted to talk with Ashish sir. It's just one.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
So, actually, when I come in Pune in 2009, that time I just completed my 3D animation course, and because of some reasons, I have to come over here in Pune, and there was no that much scope for this 3D and animation. And I was in dilemma ki, should I stay in the animation field or what to do? And as my basic qualification was related to IT, so I was thinking ki, what should I do? Though I'm so much interested, but I have to stay in Pune, and there was no that much scope. So in around 2010, I first I saw Ashish sir, and I listened one conference that was kind of seminar, and that was kind of 2 hours something. I attended that. Means I just don't remember the place, but I went there and I listened to you, sir, Ashish sir, first. That time you were in that Little Krishna and other things, which was very very interesting thing among us. This Little Krishna is made by one of our Indian someone, and that 3D is looking so nice, and everything is very fine. So when I heard very first time to you how the scope and how upcoming years are very good for animation industry and other things. So that time after listening you, I changed my mind. I should stay in animation only. So right now I'm in design media for this 3D faculty, and that time I say thanks. I heard you. And, so long time.
She was earlier teaching in Bharati Vidyapeeth, sir, actually. So
yeah, I know actually,
yeah.
When the industry starts, it's always very difficult. There are many people who leave the industry because they're not very certain. But as the industry starts consolidating itself, it starts shaping up, the ecosystem starts, delivering projects and continuity is there, then the stability comes in. When you are talking about 2010 and all, it was still very shaky.
Yeah.
And we were still consolidating as an industry. But today, I would say that, there are at least 4 or 5 studios who have got upwards of 500, episodes to deliver, and their pipeline is full till 2022, 2023. And that's a good sign. In fact, they are all 2D shows. People are still not venturing out into 3D so well because of the cost issues and the market dynamics. But people who are doing work for foreign studios are still delivering 3D out of India. It's something that one will have to adapt to. But the industry has definitely grown. The size has grown. And even the number of artists that we have are phenomenally higher. Now even universities have animation programs, which is a full-fledged degree program and a master's program as well. And I really want to see some people like you should do research in animation as well. So I think, and I have a very high respect for people who take to an academics. Because not everybody has a flair of teaching, but the teachers are the most important thing, because the interest of a student in a subject is as good as what quality of teaching or a teacher or a faculty they have. If the faculty makes it interesting, the student will remain interesting. So that's the reality of life, and I think that's where I believe the industry was tough to start with. I moved from advertising, and I was a CEO at Mudra Communications, so people called me a fool at that time. But I knew exactly what I was doing into a new industry. And I started exactly like Krishna said. I started with hand-drawn 2D animation, and I delivered shows in hand-drawn 2D animation for the first 2-3 years before we started delivering in 3D. So I think it's a journey, and I think.
Yes, thank you, sir. It's inspiring.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your time. And
Satish, I think you should collect Krishna's number and address. I would like to connect with him because I really I am fond of people who can do classical animation.
Traditional. Yes, Krishna. So you can actually share your email address in the chat. So we'll get connected to you.
सतीश सर मैं आपसे दिल्ली में मिल चुका हूँ जब मैं रिलायंस में था ना मैं आपसे मिल चुका हूँ
ओके ओके नहीं अभी आपका कैमरा डायरेक्शन दूसरा तरफ से है एक्चुअली तो दिख नहीं रहा इसलिए सो आई थिंक हिडन कैमरा जैसा है आपका
यस सर हेलो
ओके ओके कृष्णा यस यस
ओके सर तो
गुड
कृष्णा आप नंबर और ईमेल आईडी भेजो वी विल कीप इन टच बिकॉज़
ओके सर तो सर ओके सर मैं चैट पे कर दूं आपको
हाँ मेरे पास अभी 70-80 लोग का लिस्ट है जो ट्रेडिशनल एनिमेशन करते हैं आज भी
ओके सर
वो आई वुड लाइक टू मेक श्योर दैट आई ऐड यू आल्सो देयर
ओके सर
चैट पे डाल दो आप
प्लीज ओके
आपका मेल आईडी और फोन नंबर डाल दो चैट पे
ओके
आप साउथेक्स में पढ़ाते थे क्या रिलायंस से
नो सर
नोएडा
यस ओके
Yeah, we have come to the end of the session today, and I would like to give the vote of thanks. We take this opportunity to thank the respected chief guest of this function, Mr. Ashish Kulkarni, for attending this function in his busy schedule. His speech was amazing, and I hope all my students have taken something back to their homes and implement in their lives. So we will cultivate, and I'll cultivate your advice you had given us and in real time. Thank you so much, sir. I extend my gratitude to the administrative staff, faculties for spending time and encouragement to make active endeavors. It will be my pleasure also to thank our supporters, friends, for not only supporting us, but also guiding us through the journey of DMES. And last but not the least, our students who have made this possible today. Without you, the function would have been not been a success. Big thank you. Thank you all. Thank you one and all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
I'm just putting my email ID in the chat if anybody wants to make a note. So in the chat, I have given my email ID. If anybody wants to send some mail or anything, you can make a note of this. Thank you, sir. Thank you once again. Yeah. So please take care of. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. We'll end.
Thank you, sir. Take care of your health.
Okay, sir. Bye.
Thank you, all the staff members. DMES.
Thank you, sir. Thank you,
Yes.
sir.
Okay, sir. Bye.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye, bye, sir.